You reach for the light switch before your hand even knows why. Your fingers move first. Your brain catches up a second later. Something ancient inside you wakes up. It is not logic. It is not memory. But the real answer is far stranger than "I just don't like the dark." Tonight, when the sun goes down, you will flip a switch without thinking. Light will flood the room. You won't feel the small wave of relief that follows. But for almost all of human history, that switch did not exist. When the sun set, the world simply disappeared, and your ancestors lived inside that disappearance every single night. Think about what that meant. Not for one evening. For hundreds of thousands of years, every sunset removed the safety of sight. A snapping branch, a distant call, a shift in the wind. Your ancestors could not see what made that sound. They could only wait. What happens to a species that waits in the dark long enough? It adapts. It adapts, not by becoming braver, but by becoming more afraid. Fear became a tool passed down, like eye color. The humans who felt nothing when the light disappeared did not tend to live very long. The ones who tensed, who listened, who stayed close to the fire, those were the ones who made it to morning. And they were the ones who had children. This is where psychologist Richard Koss comes in. Working at UC Davis, Koss spent years studying how humans respond to shapes tied to ancient predators. His research suggested some fear responses are not learned. They are inherited, tuned across generations by creatures that hunted your ancestors. You have never been stalked by a leopard. But some circuit in your nervous system still behaves as if you might be. Here is the strange part. Darkness itself is not dangerous. A dark room has never hurt anyone. So why does your body react as if it were the threat? Because darkness was never the danger. Darkness was the removal of information. His research suggested that some of your reactions to threat are not learned from personal experience at all. They feared it because it was uncertain. And to a survival machine, uncertainty looks exactly like danger. This is why children fear the dark more than adults. Child psychologist Arthur Jersild found fear of the dark ranked among children's strongest fears. Children haven't yet built the evidence that the closet is empty. Empty, night after night. So the ancient alarm rings louder because nothing yet tells it to be quiet. Now here is the twist. You'd think artificial light should have erased this fear completely. Electric bulbs, streetlights, cities that never fully go dark. But it hasn't. Adults in fully safe, fully modern rooms still feel a flicker of unease in the dark, still sleep with nightlights well into adulthood. Why would a fear survive the exact conditions that should have made it obsolete? Because evolution doesn't update on a human timeline. Electric light has existed for about 150 years. That is nothing against the hundreds of thousands of years that shaped your nervous system. The switch on your wall is new. The wiring behind your ribs is ancient. There's a second layer. Sleep researcher Matthew Walker has written about how deeply human biology is tied to light and darkness, how the transition into night shifts, from hormone release to changing alertness. As light fades, your brain prepares you for rest. At the exact moment, a survival-focused mind would want you most alert. That contradiction, winding down while staying on guard, is part of why darkness has always felt unsettling.
Now notice how this shows up outside the bedroom. A text message left on read. A meeting, A meeting no one explains.
A diagnosis you're waiting on? None of these involve real darkness. But all of them involve the same missing ingredient: the absence of information your brain believes it needs to stay safe. You are not afraid of the dark because you are weak or childish. You are afraid because, for nearly all of human history, being unable to see was the single most reliable predictor of danger species ever faced. Every ancestor who ignored that signal is not one of your ancestors. Only the cautious ones made it far enough to become you.
So tonight, when you flip that switch without thinking, you are answering a call older than language itself. Light fills the room.
Your body settles, and somewhere underneath it all, an old and patient part of you finally believes it is safe enough to rest.